We've got a tactic today all the way from Germany. Let's check it out. This is the Union Berlin 352. It looks like it may be mimicking the Urs Fischer type of tactic that he's using at Union Berlin. I don't know. In the Steam Workshop, there is a video. There's nothing written up, unfortunately, except saying that it is world class. So check that out. But there is a video, but it is all in German. So he kind of goes through what he's doing. I assume he showed you some gameplay, some of the the screens and everything that he's going through and dealing with. So check it out if you know German. If you don't, you're in my boat. I have no idea really what's going on. I can only take a look at the tactic and how it has done for our three teams. But with that, sweeper keeper in support, ball playing defenders all across the back, wing backs in support on both sides, a DM in support in the middle, a box to box in support, side by side with a Mazzala in attack, an advanced forward in attack, and a deep line forward in attack. As you can see, it is a custom tactical style. Mentality is attacking. In possession, attacking width is fairly wide. Play out of defense. Passing directness is standard. Tempo is higher. Low crosses. In transition, counter press, counter, distribute to the fullbacks and the center backs. And then out of possession, high press line of engagement, standard defensive line, prevent short goalkeeper distribution, and trigger press much more often, as well as stop crosses. Now, our three teams, how did it do? As you can see, Newcastle, 77 points, second place in Champions League spot. Fantastic. Tottenham, 67 points on the higher side of average probably for them, but in UEFA spots. Wolves in Conference League with 67 points. I mean, seriously, everything is tied except for that goal differential, basically, bringing Tottenham above Wolves. And that is just amazing to see. I mean, all three teams in Europa or in European spots. So that's great. I mean, that is absolutely great. It's what you want in a tactic that really takes no skills whatsoever, does nothing but just as a flat sim with all the coaches and the managers doing all the work for you. Newcastle's schedule looks absolutely really fantastic right at the start. 0-4, they cannot beat Liverpool no matter what tactic they use. But from that point on, all the way to 1-2 against Manchester City, and then 0-1 against Man United. 3 losses, and that's it in the first half of the season. Wow. Loss against Arsenal, so they're losing against the big 6 teams. But against Sheffield United, they're dropped out 0-1 FA Cup third round. Tottenham EFL Cup quarters, they're dropped out 0-1. You might be able to bring that up better if you're playing this yourself and kind of managing everything yourself. These 0-1s and the draws are easy fodder for you to kind of do better than what the sim has done. At least that's where I would start looking. But Arsenal 0-3, 0-4. So you got, I mean, that kind of tail half of the season. You still have some nice runs, some nice screens, but ooh, God, that sucks. Tottenham 2-7 loss against Manchester City, 0-2 against Leicester. That hurts, but they've got a lot more games to play. They're through the Champions League. They're through EFL Cup. You can see they're continuing on. FA Cup third round is where they drop out against Southampton. EFL Cup, they continue. EFL Cup final against Manchester United is where they lose 0-1. So it looks like they knocked out into the Europa League, where they continue on. Sturm Graz and then Lazio, they do finally lose out 1-2 after drawing 1-1 at home. Round of 16, though. And then from that point on, it's just spotty as all get out. Wolves, spotty, but not too bad. I mean, a couple of runs. You do have a smattering of losses. You're out against West Ham, 1-1 penalty shootout in the EFL Cup third round. It looks like they've got no friendlies during the World Cup time, but FA Cup third round replay, Rotherham, you just lost 0-1. So that's not all that great. But I mean, after that, you've got some nice runs, a couple of losses smattered throughout, but from Leicester all the way down, you're picking up a lot of points. So that's good to see. Transfer-wise for Newcastle, not a lot of new faces. I mean, you see Alex Scott, Douglas Santos, Kai Kennedy. We've all seen them before, and no real outs that we haven't seen either. Tottenham's transfers, you could see Oscar Aranda from Real Madrid. I think we've seen him maybe once before. Manuel Ugarte from Sporting, 52 million. That's a big one. And Marco Lavagia from Hajduk Split, 6 million. And again, no outs that we haven't seen. Wolves spending a bit of money. I mean, Chiquinho for 4 million from Benfica, Lino Sousa from Arsenal 7.75, and then David Luiz for 350k. We've seen them all before. No, Daniel Podence is the only big one out, 5.5 million. So yeah, standard stuff pretty much all across the board. Newcastle squad looks not too bad. 753 for Isaac is fantastic. 742 for Callum Wilson. Pretty nice, but you can see they did not use their entire squad for some reason. Tottenham side, 743 for Son. Pretty nice. Kane doesn't look like he's doing all that great, though. And then Wolves, Jimenez was 725, 743 for Cunha. So you got a nice set of players. Still not using the full squad, though, but I mean, it looks like not too bad. Data Hub for Newcastle, shaky in defense and very good in attack. You can see some very strong numbers. Not quite tops of the league, but definitely well above Premier League average. Team defending a little closer to Premier League average, and then some that you'd really want to see picked up a bit. Tottenham, shaky in defense, good in attack, nowhere near Newcastle's, but still everything at or above Premier League average is pretty good. But still, you got some defensive numbers that really are woeful. And then Wolves, shaky defense, again, good in attack. You could see some numbers are pretty good. Fouls against per game is a little lower, but a lot of numbers in the defending side that just need to be picked up. Tackling attempted per game is nice-ish. Stats-wise, Newcastle, Tottenham, and Wolves all up there with 65 goals apiece, 84 for Newcastle. Very strong attacking side for Newcastle. Few shots against Newcastle with the defending as well, a little bit. Most possession, all three teams. Most dribbles made. Newcastle is up there finally. Fewest conceded, though, Newcastle in there. Most shutouts, Newcastle and Tottenham with 14 apiece. Most tackles, all three teams in there with some strong numbers for Newcastle and somewhat Tottenham and I guess Wolves, I guess. Best pass completion, absolutely no one. Most shots for Newcastle, Wolves, and Tottenham all in there. And then most points per game, as you'd expect. Overview-wise, most goals, Haaland with 42. Isaac in there with 28. Wilson with 22. Son with 21. And Cunha with 20. Most assists, Trippier with 15 to lead the league. Cunha and Moutinho with 10 apiece. Most player of the match awards, Cunha, Son, and Isaac all up there with 8 and 10. Best pass completion, nobody. Most dribbles made, Semedo is in there. Trippier and Porro. 150 for Semedo, nice. Fewest conceded, Hugo Lloris with 40 in there. Most shutouts, Lloris and Nick Pope. Most tackles won, Trippier and Semedo. So most key passes, Trippier is the only one in there. Semedo's not up there as usual. But most shots, Isaac, Cunha, and Son. Very attacking-sided tactic, as we've seen in the tactic itself. You definitely get a lot of bodies forward. You don't get a lot of bodies back. And finishing out, top goal scorer in all competitions for Newcastle, Isaac with 29 goals, 753 highest average rating as well. Trippier with 15 assists, and Isaac with 8 player of the match awards. Not too shabby for Isaac, I will have to say. Tottenham's grouping, Son with 33 goals. It's a great tally for him, especially when Kane's not really producing as much. Son with 743 average rating. Holsberg with 10 assists, and then Son with 10 player of the match awards. Son, if you can get Son, I mean, he's never going to be cheap, but man, is he a player. Cunha for Wolves, 23 goals, 743 highest average rating, 11 assists for Cunha and Moutinho, and then Cunha with 10 player of the match awards. Cunha just racking up everything. But overall, I mean, this was a pretty good grouping. Try it out on your own, especially when you're not wanting to do a standard 4-3-3 or a 4-4-2 or any of those standard formats, the tactics. Try something different. This looks like it might help. You just need to pick up a couple of games here and there. Getting to 87 is kind of a stretch. I mean, even Newcastle is 10 points off. Tottenham and Wolves 20 points off. But still, look, in this setup at least, you can get to 71 and get past Man United and get into Champions League spots. I would imagine you probably need better transfers in there. Wolves not giving you a lot of money, but I think it's doable. But overall, it looks like a pretty nice tactic to try out. But that is it for me, Safian FM, for the Football Manager blog channel, saying thank you as always for watching. Take care and enjoy.